Hey, I'm Ali from Meal Prep and I am here with Aaron Cuetis, one of the experts in body recomposition. I have a goal to lose weight and I have enlisted Aaron to help me on that journey. He's created like a meal plan for me and we're going to go through that now, and also I'm going to ask him some other burning fat loss and weight loss questions. So I think we'll kick it off. What's the difference between fat loss and weight loss? Is there a difference?
I would say that fat loss is generally involved in weight loss. Obviously, you can lose more than just fat when you're losing weight.
Like muscle?
Like muscle. Generally, people don't want to lose muscle, but I've actually dieted people that do want to lose muscle before. So someone that was moving into the fashion world and wanted to do some runway work. She was quite fit and athletic looking, and she actually wanted to drop muscle in the process. So that was very weird for me because it's just going against what you generally want from a client. So that was interesting. But yeah, so in regards to the difference between fat loss and weight loss, yeah, it can be very different. But generally what we're trying to do when we say lose weight is lose body fat.
I think
as opposed to anything else.
That's my goal, definitely. What's the best diet for fat loss? Would you say keto?
The best diet for fat loss is the one that allows you to achieve your goals and that's sustainable for you and that you somewhat enjoy at least. So if that's keto, fantastic. If it's low fat, high carbs, fine. If it's intermittent fasting, fine.
So it's really a very personal journey.
Yeah. What works well for you, not necessarily works best for someone else. And I guess you've got to play around a little bit to figure that out.
So then what do you think about calories in, calories out as like the baseline of weight loss? Because I personally feel like when I've tried to lose weight before, I might be eating in a calorie deficit, but also I have a lot of high stress or I'm not sleeping well, and then, everything's kind of off kilter. So like, they say calories in, calories out, but that's not
the be all and end all? It's the most important thing, I would say, in regards to fat loss or weight loss.
More important than the gym?
More important than exercise, yes. If you've ever, let's say, looked at the calorie content of a donut or a decent piece of cake or a nice big juicy burger.
You can't out-train a poor diet.
Yes. So I'd say that nutrition is the thing you need to focus on most in regards to your fat loss journey.
Could you lose weight purely by diet and not exercising at all?
For sure.
But it's faster with exercise?
It just changes that calories in versus calories out equation. So if you're exercising more and burning more calories every day, perhaps you won't have to reduce your calorie intake as much to achieve the same result.
Cool. What's the best way to burn calories?
Similar to my answer to what's the best diet, you've got to look at what exercise you enjoy doing. You've also got to look at the calorie burn of the exercise. So if you compare walking at a nice, slow, moderate pace compared to training as hard as you can in the gym and doing like some circuit training or something like that, you're obviously going to burn a lot more calories in the gym. So if you've got a goal to burn 400 calories and you're going to try and do that with a slow walk, you're going to be walking for a very long time.
Yeah. And what's a healthy time frame to lose weight?
That would depend on how much weight someone has to lose.
Okay.
So if you've got 15 kilograms of body fat to lose to get to your goal weight, you're going to have to take a considerable amount of time to get there. If you're 3 kilos away from fitting into your wedding dress, then, a month and you can get there.
Okay. All right. So then what's an unhealthy? So I guess, crash dieting is never sustainable because you might lose the weight quickly, but then
you bounce back up. You go back on. For general population, someone in an average type of body weight, I would say 500 grams a week is a good sustainable rate of weight loss that you can maintain over the longer term. I've had clients lose, there's always outliers, but I've had people lose 1 kilogram a week for an extended period of time, but that's not very common. And obviously it helps if that person was extra heavy to begin with, because then 1 kilogram a week is a smaller percentage of their total weight.
I remember when I used to watch The Biggest Loser and you'd see them lose like 7 kilos in a week and it's like, oh my God, that's insane.
Well, if you start at 200 kilograms, then it's not
so crazy.
An incredible amount.
Yeah, interesting. So then for me, so I want to lose probably about 8 kilos maybe. How long until, what's the healthy time frame for me to lose weight? And how long until I start seeing results?
Easy way to sort of start would be to just times your kilograms wanting to lose by 2, and that will give you the number of weeks.
Okay.
So
because 500 grams.
If someone tells me 8 kilograms, I'll say, okay, well, let's look at around a 16-week dieting down phase to try and achieve what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, cool. All right. That's good. That's not too long. What about fat burners and weight loss shakes? Are there any supplements that you'd ever recommend? You know, people, there's caffeine supplements or...
Yep. Generally, a lot of the weight loss, fat loss supplements are based around caffeine and other stimulants. So they do help increase your metabolism. They will help fat oxidation a tiny bit. I find the biggest benefit from those type of supplements is more than mental alertness. If someone's going through a very extended cutting phase, their calories are getting very low, often their training drops in intensity. So perhaps using a stimulant-based supplement pre-workout can help increase the intensity or maintain their previous intensity in the gym to help maintain the muscle mass and obviously help maintain that calorie burn during exercise. Because you see a few people when they're at the end of a cutting phase, they are quite zombie-esque and their training's really dropped in intensity.
The labels, are there anything to look out for in food labels when?
Yeah, I would definitely look at the label and not just the claim on the pack, because something can be low calorie and often low calorie per serve, but then when you look at the sort of the macros and the percentage of macros out of 100, something could be very high in sugar and fats and trans fats, but the serving size is so small, it's claimed to be low calorie. Of course, if you have the tiniest bit of chocolate, it's low calorie. If you have a tiny spoonful of pure fat, it's low calorie. That's more about the portion size of a lot of things.
That's what I was also going to ask, macros. Macros, is it important to count your macros? Because I tried to get into it, but I just found it too time consuming and too difficult. So I just stopped. But are macros really important when losing weight?
I really push people to track their macros, not just calories, because you can eat a 2,000 calorie diet and it's never going to be this, but it could be all sugar or it could be all fat. Conversely, you could eat 2,000 calories from just protein. Those diets are going to affect you a lot differently.
How? Because you know how they say you could eat like all your calories in Maccas and you'd still maybe lose weight. Like how does the food affect the overall goal? Do you know what I mean?
Yep. So if we compare, say, sugars to protein, they're the same calories, but your body will actually expend more energy digesting the protein. You're not going to get as bigger insulin spike from eating a high protein meal as you would from eating, say, a high sugar meal.
Yeah.
So you might be able to consume the same amount of calories, but your body won't process those calories in the exact same way.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Does carb source matter? Because I often steer clear of rice, but 100 grams of rice versus 100 grams of potatoes or whatever, is there difference? Does it matter? Should I be switching it up?
You should choose what you most enjoy to eat.
Okay.
And in regards to comparing rice to potatoes to sweet potatoes, I think they're all a decent starchy carb source. They obviously all have slightly different levels of certain micronutrients, but I wouldn't be stressing about whether you're getting your carbs from rice or potato or sweet potato.
What about bread? It's very often demonized when losing weight.
A lot of people say they don't like bread because maybe they're intolerant to gluten, or they just would prefer a less processed carbohydrate. I'm not scared of bread.
I don't think you put bread in my meal plan.
No. I would always prefer a more unprocessed form of carbohydrate, or any food really in that sense. But if someone says, hey, I'm absolutely craving bread, I need bread, for this diet to be sustainable, you need to put some bread in there, we put some bread in.
Okay, cool, that's good. How often should I eat to lose weight? Does eating smaller meals speed up my metabolism? And then if that's the case, then wouldn't fasting be counterproductive?
Yep. So no, eating, say, 10 small meals per day is not going to speed up your metabolism any more than eating, say, 3 or 4 bigger meals per day. The reason you would get someone to eat at a somewhat regular interval is more to do with the protein intake and stimulating muscle protein synthesis from consuming a nice bit of protein with each of those feedings. So again, if you wanted to lose muscle, then the frequency in which you eat protein well, it does matter because you want to eat less frequently because you want to lose your muscle. But generally, people that want to lose fat also want to maintain or build muscle.
Yeah.
So a more regular intake of protein throughout the day. So I would say at least 3 meals a day. And I would never get to anyone eating more than 6 times a day.
Okay.
But somewhere in the generally 3 to 5 meals a day, is fine.
So snacks are good.
For some reason, I don't like snacks.
I don't eat snacks either, but I know, that whole speed up metabolism, like, you should have a snack between meals.
I would say almost the opposite. So you want a period of fasting between your feedings. So you want a period of time where you've eaten, your body's digested it, it's moved into your bloodstream, you've absorbed it from your bloodstream, and you get back to baseline, especially with protein, or leucine specifically. So you've got this refractory period between feedings where you need to get back to baseline before you can feed again and then spike your muscle protein synthesis yet again. Whereas if you were constantly snacking, let's say on nuts, that's a fairly common snack for a lot of people, you're constantly ingesting protein and your leucine levels will never get back to baseline. So you won't get as great a spike in muscle protein synthesis when you eat again. Okay,
so then intermittent fasting would be good.
Intermittent fasting would be good in that regard, because you definitely have that period between feedings for your body to get back down to baseline.
What about people that do eat all their meals in how you can do the 20 hours fasting, 4 hours of eating?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the whole intermittent fasting?
I think fasting's got a lot of benefits in regards to health and longevity, but if your primary goal is body recomposition, then again, you probably want to be eating protein on a more regular basis over the course of the day and not just all in the one time.
Okay. And how much protein you eat would depend on the person and how much weight they want to lose. Because I was looking at the protein of the meal plan you gave me, I was like, that's a lot of protein. I was like, I don't know if I can fit all that in.
That can be changed. But your protein intake should be relevant to your lean body mass, and that's about it.
Lean body mass is in weight? As in how much I weigh?
Yeah. Okay. What you'd weigh if you were quite lean.
Yeah. All right, gotcha. How long can you stick to the same diet? Do you need to shake it up every so often?
In the sense of changing your calorie intake, or in the sense of changing foods?
Foods.
No, if you are happy eating what you're eating and it's allowing you to achieve your weight loss goals or weight gain goals or whatever you're looking to achieve, then you don't have to change anything. It's purely on a needs basis. So if you're hitting your targets every week and you're enjoying your meals, no need to change.
All right, awesome. How much do you think a weekly grocery shop would cost for when it comes to buying food enough to lose weight, including maybe not including supplements and pre-workout, whatever, but is it expensive to lose weight?
I don't think so. I think it's cheap, because if you're actually shopping for 90% of your foods, you're obviously not eating out as much, and that's where the cost comes in. When you're paying $20, $30 for a single meal, as opposed to $100 for the whole week's worth of food. Shopping to eat well is not that expensive.
But protein can be expensive, meats can be expensive.
Yeah, everything's going up in price at the moment. But if you look at the cost per meal over the whole week, as opposed to how much you paid for dinner on Saturday night when you went out,
that's true.
It's not expensive at all.
Should I be training on an empty stomach, or should I be training with food in my stomach?
Yeah, that's personal preference, that's up to you. So I would focus on what gets you performing best in the gym. So if you perform better training on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, then fine, train that way. If you perform better having a meal and waiting a while and then training, do that. If you perform better in the evening, maybe you should think about training after work. You've also got to figure out what's best for your life and your schedule. But I would really try and focus on what allows you to perform best in the gym, because that will help long term with your results.
That's good. In terms of exercising for weight loss, is high intensity interval training better than weights? Because I personally find when I do HIIT, I feel like I lose weight faster. I feel leaner doing HIIT. I do kind of a combo of both at the moment, but is one better, or does it,
I would say they're similar, because they are, in a sense, similar anyway. You're working hard for a period of time, you're having a rest period for a short period of time and then going again. So it's very similar to a weight training routine. If you enjoy doing HIIT, then incorporate more HIIT. If you enjoy doing weights and you don't like HIIT, then I would say don't force yourself to do it.
I like your motto. It's just do whatever's good for you. It makes it easier to not have to, kind of feel like you're stuck into like a keto diet when you don't want to, or stuck doing weights when you hate weights.
If you had a specific goal, like I need to bench press the most in the world, then you need to train with weights and you need to do a lot of bench pressing.
But in terms of weight loss.
But in terms of weight loss, you just need to do something that you enjoy and that's sustainable. And if someone says they don't enjoy any exercise, well, find something. Or like we said, don't exercise if you really don't want to.
Yeah. So tell me about the meal plan you've put me on. So I told you that I work out about 4 times a week, 45 minutes. Want to lose about 8 kilos. So what have you got me on?
Yep. So everyone's a little bit different. Obviously, I've looked at the diet you said you were following or weren't following already. So we kind of base your portion sizes a little bit around that.
Okay.
If I've started you on a few too many calories and we don't drop weight the first week, then we'll drop calories and try and get things moving in the right direction. So I'd rather feed you enough than not enough to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's simply from a satiation standpoint, so you're not overly hungry. Again, to maximize performance in the gym, if we can get you eating the most calories possible and still losing weight at your desired rate, that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Like you said off camera, anyone can jump on a 800, 900 calorie diet and lose a lot of weight quickly. But how long you'll sustain that for is usually not a very long period of time.
Yeah.
And if you do sustain it for any decent length and lose quite a lot of weight, you'll tend to bounce at the afterwards.
Yeah. What about like the supplements you put me on? So you've got me on some BCAAs, is that right?
Yep.
And creatine.
Yep.
Tell me about those.
Okay, so creatine is a substance that's involved in the energy cycle within the muscle cell. Basically, it's going to allow you to train harder for longer.
Yeah.
When you're doing things like repetitive sprints or weight training, it's just going to help you recover your energy stores faster between sets so you can go again and hopefully perform a bit more work throughout the session.
So it's not like totally necessary for...
No.
But it just makes life
no
a bit
supplements
easier.
are necessary, but I think it's going to help build and maintain muscle going forward.
Yeah.
So I think it's a worthwhile supplement to take.
And that's why you put me on more on training days versus non-training days.
Yep, you'll be using more ATP energy within the muscle on your training days. So I've just given you a little bit more creatine on the days you train as opposed to the days you don't train.
Yeah.
If you wanted to take the same amount of creatine every day and just make it simple, you can easily do that as well. It's not that one way is right or wrong, it's just the way I've scheduled it.
Yeah. And I noticed the kind of meats you put me on, what's it, game meats? Like...
If you've got access to that kind of stuff.
So that's like, are they leaner kinds of meat? Is that what it is?
Generally, chicken breast from the shops is fine. Salmon from the shops is fine.
Are there any kind of meats or proteins to stay away from?
When a client tells me they're getting all their protein from sausages and burgers and cured meats and things like that, it makes me cringe. Purely just from a general health standpoint, if you're eating a lot of hydrogenated fats, trans fats, I would generally try and reduce that as opposed to getting all your protein from those kind of fatty processed sources. Doesn't mean you can't eat them. It's just if you're telling me you're eating those for your protein sources every day, I wouldn't find that ideal.
That's what I was going to ask. Cheat meals.
Yep.
What about cheat meals? What do you think about cheat meals?
They're lovely for our psychology. And if you need one every now and again, that allows you to stay on track for the other 95% of the time, then it's a good thing.
Yeah, because I feel like personally I'd want to, eat out with friends or my boyfriend once a week.
Yep.
And would that still allow me to stay on track?
Define a cheat meal.
Like going out having a burger, going out having a couple beers and a palmy or something.
Yep. Can you track it?
I could. I don't know if how can you though? Like if you go to Grilled or whatever, you got all your calories there. But if you went to a pub and it's like, I want that beef burger, you don't know.
How do you know?
Yeah.
You can estimate. It's not a cheat meal, really, if it's tracked and made room for.
Right, so I just have less calories elsewhere during the day.
If that's what you need to do, sure.
Okay.
And if you need to adjust the next day, adjust the next day a little bit.
So it works like, so do you know how sometimes you look at calorie, in what period should we be looking at calories? Like weekly, daily usually.
Yeah,
but
we look at daily macros and calories, but let's say you've had 3 burgers from Grilled and 3 large chips. For you to fit that into your daily macros might be impossible. So if you need to adjust the day prior, the day after, the days after,
okay,
and it takes you almost a week to get back to baseline, that's fine.
Cool.
As long as it's accounted for and you make up for it.
Yeah, nice. That's good to know. All right. Okay. Stress. How stress affects and sleep. Just stress and sleep.
Stress and sleep are interconnected a lot of the time. So if you're underslept, you'll essentially be overstressed.
Yes.
You may not feel that you're stressed.
No, I know. I'm like in a constant, like my body, my cortisol levels for whatever reason are always high, which is why I also feel like I'd have trouble losing weight, probably more than the average person.
So if you're underslept and or overstressed, then that will generally have a negative impact on your ability to lose fat because cortisol tends to blunt,
So then do I need to get my stress levels to a good level before I start trying to lose weight?
Ideally.
Yeah. How are we going to track my progress? How long are we going to be doing this for?
Okay, well, if you've got a certain weight that you want to hit, then we can just keep going until you hit that weight. If you've got a certain time frame, and we talked about 8 kilos in 16 weeks, then let's look at dieting for 16 weeks. In regards to tracking progress, got a little template that I'll send you that I need from you every week. So I want you to pick the same day every week to check in. Hit me up every day of the week if you've got questions, obviously, but I need these stats at least once a week. And that's just what your body weight's doing, where your macros are at, and just a rating for your compliance in regards to your nutrition, your training, and how well you've been sleeping throughout the week.
So I have to be really honest.
You have to be honest if you want me to be able to manipulate your diet and training in the way that it needs to be to continue to make progress. So when someone checks in and they haven't lost weight, for example, or they've maybe put on a little bit of weight and they've rated their compliance very well in all the aspects, then I look at that and I go, okay, we obviously need to alter the diet. You must be eating too many calories, so let's change something. If you've actually not been compliant with your nutrition, your training, you've been sleeping terribly, well then maybe we don't need to change the diet and you just actually need to be more compliant. Because there's no point continually reducing someone's calories if every time you do that they're running out and eating more cookies from the box in the cupboard. So you really need honest feedback from the client to get the best results possible.
Yeah, of course. And to your own detriment if you're not honest. Cool. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to go through the same process as me?
They can always hit me up on my social medias. So I'm fairly active on Facebook and Instagram. So
not on TikTok yet?
Do I even have a TikTok? I think I do have a TikTok. Yeah, someone kept talking me into getting onto TikTok.
I found a lot of health practitioners. Anyways, I think TikTok's great.
I haven't got into TikTok much yet.
Okay, so Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook. Maybe I'm a bit too old for TikTok. I'm not sure.
No. It's all age demographics, but
Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for your time and your expertise.
You're welcome.
I'm looking forward to definitely losing the weight.
Getting shredded.
Yeah, getting shredded, getting ripped.
All right.